Good morning. This is KELOLAND on the go with all you need to know in news and weather as you start your day.
A Brookings police officer is suspended for a year after a law enforcement commission ruled that he was using excessive force while processing someone he arrested. This past April, Officer Damian Wheats was booking Issei Caillou when Caillou became non-cooperative.
In response, Wheats slammed Caillou onto the bench where they hit their head, which in turn led to his trip to the hospital. Several corrections officers reported Wheats following the incident for excessive use of force. The commission ruled that Wheats will also have to undergo a psychological evaluation and additional officer trainings. It's a frustration for law enforcement all over the country. Criminals being let out of jail after they are arrested for serious crimes. The recent case of Jaden Davis is an example. Although he was accused of trying to strangle someone and suspected of stealing several cars, he was released from jail on a personal recognizance bond.
8 days later, officers say Davis was involved in a standoff with police. Authorities say it can be frustrating, but they concentrate on what they have to do.
When you're talking about the criminal justice system as a whole, there's a lot of different parts and components to that. From the police side, the law enforcement side, our job is to solve the crime, find the people that are committing it, and arrest them.
Davis is accused of holding a child hostage and crashing into police cars. When the standoff finally ended, police say Davis shot himself in the foot. The Minnehaha County Sheriff's Office is looking for a wanted man. Authorities posted this picture on social media. Joshua Thurgood is wanted for aggravated assault.
According to court documents, he assaulted a man in May in central Sioux Falls. The victim was unconscious and lying in a pool of blood. According to court records, Thurgood has been convicted of a handful of violent crimes in Woodbury County, Iowa.
Now let's get a check of our weather with meteorologist Scott Munt. Rain for some, snow for others today, Scott.
Yeah, snow will be found across western South Dakota. We'll see how much of that moves to the east into central and north central KELOLAND. I would say late today. That's one system that's running through. The cold air comes in behind a cold front. I would say the later we go through today and tonight, that will set the stage for the second system this weekend on Saturday to bring snow chances for the southern half of the area. For today, I'll just go with steady, slowly falling temperatures. Becoming windy as we do get into the later part of today, especially tonight in eastern South Dakota. And we have a chance for that weekend snow. Brian will talk more about that coming up here in just a couple of minutes.
Thank you, Scott. We've talked with neighbors, commissioners, and mayors of two communities about the proposed men's prison in Lincoln County. Now we're checking in with Emergency Manager Harold Timmerman.
He tells KELOLAND News that plans for the new prison won't impact him a lot, but not everything is crystal clear at the moment.
There's more details we need to find out from the state before we know just how it's going to affect us.
Timmerman says there are paramedic ambulances in both Canton and Lenox, but not in Harrisburg. Wintry weather is in the forecast for KELOLAND. That's why your donations are needed for Keep KELOLAND Warm.
New or gently used winter coats aren't the only item in demand. The St. Francis House is running low on hats and gloves.
We do need those items because, as we know, that weather is changing very quickly for us, and we could see snow maybe by this weekend already.
You can drop off your donations of new or gently used coats and winter clothing at any Sioux Falls Lewis store except the one downtown through November 22nd. The St. Francis House will accept them over the next several months. Montgomery's is also a partner for Keep KELOLAND Warm.
And for the 117th time, USD and SDSU will face off on the football field this weekend. Here you can see some photos from one of the oldest intrastate rivalries in the country. Jackrabbits lead the all-time series 56-53, and there's been 7 ties.
The Coyotes have won the last 2 games against SDSU in the Dakota Dome, but SDSU earned the win last year, 28-3 in Brookings. You'll find more photos from the games from the 1980s, 90s, and 2000s in a KELOLAND.com original. This year's game kicks off at 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon in Vermilion. KELOLAND Sports will have a live vlog from the game. You can follow along right here on our website. That's a look at some of our top stories.
Now let's get one last look at your weather forecast with meteorologist Brian Karstens. Brian?
All right, our weather update here today. Winter weather advisory in effect for the county shaded in blue, and that's for Rapid City, Spearfish, and also Belle Fourche. And remember, these areas will continue to have some impacts of a wintry combo, including that freezing drizzle, and it's created some icy roads here in the northwest. And obviously here too, we've got snow and some more accumulation to go up around Bison and Buffalo. So we want to make sure we get that story out there. And then, of course, temperatures are falling with this cold front. A lot of the numbers here into the 30s already. In fact, even 20s in Rapid City to start the day. And I think overall, when we look at the afternoon, not much better than maybe low 30s around Rapid City. Even Aberdeen at 3 o'clock, it's cooling down in the low to mid 30s. Sioux Falls at that point is at 50. Don't forget the southeast is also dealing with some pockets of fog, drizzle, and rain. So that's another issue there to make sure we're aware of. Tonight, as the frontal system pushes through, there is this little part of the system here that produces a quick hit of snow from Pierre up to the northeast toward Aberdeen. That could accumulate to just a nuisance a little bit on the ground, but if it does materialize, it looks like, again, not a tremendous amount, but I want to make sure we at least acknowledge that. Most of Friday will dry out. We'll be in between systems. So we have kind of a blustery northwest wind. Temperatures during the hourly numbers in the afternoon will struggle through the 30s. And then we get into, looks like tonight or Friday night into Saturday morning. Here comes the next round of snow, and it's likely to accumulate. Now, how many inches, how much snow? Well, I would really categorize this as a nuisance type snow. Okay, so when we think of nuisance snows, typically we refer to a 1 to 3 inch probability. Yes, getting over an inch of snow, pretty likely in most of the areas shaded in red. If we look at the timeline on this, again, a lot of it today is in the northwest. So this is not an issue for Sioux Falls at all tonight. However, Aberdeen and Pierre, well, an inch, maybe. That's probably on the high end of estimates at this point. But see, as we fast forward into Saturday, then we start to paint in more of our southern counties with that blossoming area of maybe an inch, maybe a couple. There could be a small, smaller band here and there of 3 or 4 inches. That's a possibility, and we'll have more details about that. But in October, a lot of times this stuff doesn't last too long anyway. So just enough to let you know that's what's ahead here. Let's wrap it up. Your forecast today, near 60 Sioux Falls, but clouds and drizzle and areas of rain. 30s are coming tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, even Halloween Tuesday. It's going to cool off again. In fact, that day is another reinforcing shot of cold and wind that we may have to deal with here. So you'll hear more about that in the coming days. Aberdeen, your chance of snow on Saturday is 50%. I would also say for Pierre and Rapid City, there will be some additional snows in the region on Saturday, but it's a nuisance, not a heavy snow, and it'll just be pretty chilly in the 30s as we get into early next week. Rapid City, too, it'll be only at 28 on Saturday. Check out more details about the changing weather at KELOLAND.com.